All right, guys. So we have more WNBA players who are not stars coming out and addressing the potential lockout, as we are just a couple days away from the deadline. We are only a couple days away, guys. So we got some more players coming out. Steph Talbot, a WNBA veteran, not a star, someone who was not welcome at Unrivaled, someone who was not welcome to Project B. I already showed what Deja Kelly had to say, as she let it be known she is scared, literally scared for a lockout. Now
the silence was deafening until now. Deja Kelly just spoke her truth. She's literally scared of a WNBA lockout that looms mere days away. This isn't a game for her or for countless other players who are not the league's multi-million-dollar stars. This is their job, their livelihood, their only shot. The frustration is boiling over, aimed directly at the WNBPA, the very organization meant to protect them. These players accuse the union of failing their most vulnerable members, pushing a high-stakes negotiation that could shatter careers and plunge the league into chaos, leaving many furious and abandoned.
For a lockout. Now we have more people coming out and stating more of the same. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. Sorry, I am on the road. It's the holidays. I'm not home, not at the studio. Got to do what I got to do. So I'm going to read y'all this article, right? And I'm going to put this article in the description on the video so you can look at it yourself. And the first thing it says: fears for WNL stars with looming WNBA agreement. Now, these are some players who play professionally.
More non-star WNBA athletes are now stepping forward, echoing Kelly's raw fear. The December 1st deadline is a ticking time bomb. Players like Steph Talbot, a WNBA veteran, are making it crystal clear a lockout would be devastating. She represents a significant segment of the league, not the elite few who can ride out a storm. Their collective outcry reveals a deep divide, a chasm between the union's leadership and the everyday player, creating an undeniable sense of betrayal among those whose careers hang in the balance. This is a crucial moment for player solidarity.
Right? And I'm going to put this article in the description on the video so you can look at it yourself. And the first thing it says: fears for WNL stars with looming WNBA agreement. Now, these are some players who play professionally in Australia as well when the WNBA is not in season. So they are seeing it as, once this agreement is done, they could potentially only play in the WNBA now. They won't have to play in another overseas league and all of that. All of the things that a lot of these women were claiming, the reasons that they wanted.
Talbot, acknowledging her career is closer to the end, is not playing games. She sees the clock, not just on her career, but on the future of many. The prospect of losing an entire WNBA season, the 2026 season, is unthinkable for players establishing themselves or nearing retirement. They need consistent play, consistent income, and a stable league. The current WNBPA strategy, they argue, completely disregards this urgent reality, prioritizing a high-risk gamble over the immediate stability that the majority of players desperately require to sustain their professional lives and families.
All of the things that a lot of these women were claiming, the reasons that they wanted more pay from the WNBA so they didn't have to play overseas, but they're about to get more pay from the WNBA, but they also want to be able to play in Unrivaled and play in overseas in Project B. These players actually meant it. They did not want to have to play in other leagues beyond the WNBA. So let's take a look, listen to the article here. It says the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement will set a precedent for other women's sports, but risk taking talent away from WNBL. The American League is currently in negotiations with players.
But who is truly driving the WNBPA's hardline stance? Whispers of deep-seated conflicts of interest are now shouts. Nneka Ogwumike, the WNBPA president, is negotiating a new CBA while simultaneously accepting a multi-million-dollar deal with Project B, a rival league venture. This blatant dual role sparks outrage among players who see their union leader benefiting personally from an outside entity while making decisions that could cripple their primary income source, the WNBA. The optics alone are disastrous, eroding trust at a critical juncture for the league's future.
Listen to the article here. It says the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement will set a precedent for other women's sports but risk taking talent away from WNBL. The American League is currently in negotiations with Players Union to settle on a CBA by December 1st. We just a few days away, guys. And it says, and has reportedly offered to increase the maximum salary to more than $1.1 million. Base wages are expected to jump from $220,000 to $338,000. The average salary will more than triple its currently $130,000. Okay, whatever. However, negotiations have.
The conflict doesn't stop with Ogwumike. Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, also integral members of the WNBPA negotiating board, are co-founders of Unrivaled, another competing league. This situation raises serious questions. Are these star players truly advocating for the best interests of all WNBA athletes? Or are their decisions influenced by their investments in alternative leagues? The rank-and-file players who lack such lucrative alternative income streams feel abandoned and unrepresented, believing their future is being gambled by those with nothing to lose.
That we have been saying we feel like it's a conflict of interest where you have Nneka Ogwumike accepting a multi-million-dollar deal with Project B while being the president on the board for the WNBPA negotiating a new CBA. You got Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier who are on the board, but they are co-founders of a competitor league, Unrivaled. All of these things we've called a conflict of interest, and now we are starting to see the players that it would truly affect. I mean, really affect. If there is a lockout, we're starting to see them.
This perceived conflict of interest is the crux of the frustration. The stars have unrivaled money, Project B money, endorsement money. They possess a financial cushion that allows them to set out the 2026 season without catastrophic personal consequences. The vast majority of WNBA players do not. For them, missing a season means devastating financial hardship, a loss of career momentum, and potentially the end of their professional dream. It highlights a fundamental imbalance in power and privilege within the very union designed to protect everyone equally.
The players that it would truly affect, I mean really affect, if there is a lockout, we're starting to see them come out and speak. I read you guys the article where Deja Kelly said, I'm trying to establish myself and show that I can play in the league, and I'm trying to have a job. I'm trying to have a job. I'm not trying to go no 2026 season. I'm playing in Athletes Unlimited, and I'm trying to make me a WNBA roster spot. I want a consistent job. A lockout is not beneficial to me. I need the job.
Meanwhile, the WNBA has reportedly put a substantial offer on the table. They've proposed increasing the maximum salary to over $1.1 million, a monumental leap. Base wages are expected to jump significantly, and the average salary would more than triple from its current $130,000. For many players struggling to make ends meet, this offer represents a life-changing opportunity, a chance for genuine financial stability and to truly focus on their WNBA careers without needing to seek income overseas during the off-season, addressing a long-standing player demand.
Let's get the deal done. I want to get a deal done so that I don't have to do this. My body feels like crap. The WNBA is offering, I think it's a fair offer. And with that money, I would not have to come over here and play in the WNBL. I could rest and I can do training and get ready for the next season. I don't have to beat my body to hell to rush overseas to play. I don't want a lockout. Let's sign the deal. JC Shelburne, not welcomed at Project B. Not a part of 3-on-3 Unrivaled.
Despite this promising offer, negotiations have stalled. The WNBPA union is demanding players share revenue rather than accept fixed salaries. While revenue sharing holds long-term potential, the immediate risk is immense. For players like Deja Kelly and Steph Talbot, a guaranteed significantly higher fixed salary is a tangible lifeline right now. They can't afford to wait for a speculative revenue share, especially if it leads to a lockout. This insistence on revenue sharing over a solid immediate pay raise is precisely what infuriates the majority of the league. The toll on players' bodies is another critical factor. Take Jade Melbourne, a 23-year-old from the Washington Mystics. She admits her body is feeling the strain from playing an entire WNBA season, only to immediately rush overseas to play in the WNBL in Australia. This relentless grind is a direct consequence of current WNBA salaries not being sufficient. The proposed new deal, with its vastly improved pay, offers a way out of this physical and mental exhaustion, allowing players much needed rest and focused off-season training to prolong their careers. Melbourne's plea is straightforward: my body feels like crap. The WNBA is offering a fair offer. She sees the increased WNBA pay as a direct solution, eliminating the need to beat my body to hell to rush overseas to play. She desperately wants the deal signed, not a lockout. Her perspective highlights how the WNBPA's negotiation strategy, pushing for more, is actively jeopardizing the very physical well-being of its members, rather than embracing a deal that provides immediate relief and long-term health benefits for its athletes. It's crucial to note that players like Jade Melbourne, Steph Talbot, and Deja Kelly are not affiliated with Project B or Unrivaled. They are not part of the elite circle with alternative income stream. Their voices represent the unvarnished reality of professional women's basketball for the vast majority. Their concerns are purely about having a job, earning a living wage, and maintaining their health. The WNBPA's failure to adequately represent these interests is a glaring omission, further fueling the sense that the union has lost touch with its base. The numbers don't lie. There are far more middle-of-the-pack and fringe players in the WNBA than there are household stars. Yet, their concerns seem to be sidelined in favor of an agenda championed by a select few. The union's mandate is to protect all members, but the current dispute feels tailored to the interests of a minority. This imbalance of representation and power is causing severe internal friction, threatening to tear apart the solidarity necessary for any successful collective bargaining agreement. The players are watching, and they are increasingly vocal. Players on the brink of establishing themselves, like Deja Kelly, cannot afford a 2026 season lockout. They need game time, exposure, and a consistent paycheck to secure their spot in the league. For them, a lockout isn't merely an inconvenience, it's a potential career killer. The stark contrast between their precarious situation and the financial security of the star players leading the WNBPA negotiations is infuriating. It underscores a fundamental misunderstanding, or perhaps a blatant disregard for the economic realities faced by most WNBA athletes. This CBA also has significant international implications. Many WNBA players, particularly Australians like Talbot and Melbourne, play in the WNBL during the WNBA offseason. A lucrative WNBA deal could mean they no longer need to play overseas, allowing them to rest and focus solely on their American careers. While beneficial for the WNBA players, it risks taking talent away from international leagues like the WNBL. However, for the players themselves, the ability to prioritize their health and WNBA commitment is a massive personal victory, making the WNBA's offer highly attractive. This agreement isn't just about the 56 players in the WNBA this season. Its significance stretches far beyond a breakthrough deal. One that substantially increases player pay and professionalism could serve as a powerful model for all women's sports globally. It could set a new benchmark for how female athletes are valued and compensated, inspiring leagues worldwide. The opportunity to create such a precedent is immense, yet the WNBPA's internal divisions and negotiation tactics are jeopardizing this broader transformative potential for women's athletics everywhere. The WNBA is eyeing massive expansion, with 5 new teams planned by 2030, including Toronto next year. This growth vision hinges on attracting and retaining top talent. However, the league currently struggles to draw some of the best European players, who often find it more financially viable to stay and play in their home countries. A robust new CBA with competitive wages would be a game changer, transforming the WNBA into the undeniable global destination for elite women's basketball talent, ushering in an unprecedented era of growth and competitive parity. As these players state, once the WNBA offers the biggest wages and the best salary cap, the league is poised to reach a whole another level. This isn't just about individual player wealth, it's about elevating the entire sport. Attracting world-class talent means better games, bigger audiences, and greater investment. The current stalled negotiations, driven by the WNBPA's demands, are actively hindering this incredible potential. The majority of players want to seize this moment, not jeopardize it with a lockout, showcasing a clear divergence of strategic vision. The chorus of voices from overseas players, from veterans to young talents, is unified. They do not want a lockout. They want the deal signed now. They see the WNBA's offer as a fair, life-changing opportunity that benefits their bodies, their finances, and their futures. Their desperation is palpable, directly contradicting the hardline stance taken by their union leadership. This growing rebellion from within the ranks signifies a critical fracture, as players assert their immediate needs over the potentially abstract long-term gains sought by the WNBPA's star-led board. The stark reality is that the WNBPA's current approach appears to prioritize the interests of a select few stars who possess alternative income and vested interests in competing ventures over the immediate and critical needs of the vast majority of its members. The failure to protect the interests of these middle-of-the-pack and fringe players who simply seek a stable job and fair compensation is a profound dereliction of the union's core duty. This is why fury is building. The players feel unprotected by their own representatives, creating an untenable situation. As the deadline looms, the WNBA faces a defining moment. This isn't just about contract numbers, it's about the soul of the league, about who gets protected and whose voices are truly heard. The WNBPA's failure to unite its ranks and safeguard all players' livelihoods risks fracturing the very foundation of women's basketball. The fury from those who stand to lose everything is palpable, demanding immediate action before the dream of a thriving WNBA becomes a nightmare for the vast majority of its dedicated athletes, jeopardizing the league's hard-won momentum.